This was a qualm for me. It was a bit of a concern for me.
Yeah, a bit of a qualm.
It was a bit too close to home, you see.
Yes. Welcome back to Spoonsville. Today we're covering Private Life. Now, I am going to do...
Is it Private Life or A Private Life?
We probably should have double-checked before we started. That's supposed to be the Jeopardy thing. Private Life. Thank you. Very much more on key. There we go. Yeah, I think it's just Private Life. Eh?
Oh, it is Private Life.
Yeah. Follows a couple who lives in New York City, and they've been trying for a couple years now to have a child. And failure after failure, trying every option under the sun, they end up eventually getting their niece, I think, like their friend's... Step-niece. Their friend's daughter.
No, not even step-niece.
Their friend's daughter to donate an egg.
Isn't it step-niece?
Yeah, because they're friends. They're not related.
The brother to the guy is married to a woman who already had kids.
Yes.
So they're not biologically related.
Right.
So what is
step-niece.
That? Yeah, step-niece.
I think they say it's like step-niece,
Yeah, step-niece.
Yeah. But yeah, really liked it. Again, I just came across it. Love Paul Giamatti. Do love me some Paul Giamatti.
Yeah, he's really great. And that lady too, Kathryn.
I know I've seen her other places.
I've seen her in so
I got an IMDb her.
What's his name? Paul
Giamatti.
Sorry. I haven't seen him in a lot of movies either.
He was in San Andreas, I believe. I have not seen that one.
I
feel like that's not his best movie. He was in Sideways. But yeah, I really liked it. Again, I have a soft spot for just kind of, personal relationship movies in New York. It's just a good setting. It just always makes for a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
Very funny.
We like it also because it's just it depicts life.
Yes, another life depictor.
Yeah. Another life depicting movie.
Yeah. It's not like overly depressing. Obviously, they sprinkle a lot of great moments in it.
Because life isn't always depressing.
No, exactly. It's a great balance of the two. Yeah, I mean, I liked. The whole idea too is like, it's a very human story because you've got these two aging artists, and they do get to the point where they're like, we would like a child. But throughout too, they have these conversations where they kind of like forget or have to remind each other. It's like, well, I'm pretty sure you were actually pushing for the kid, and they were like, well, where'd you get that idea? You're always the one that, it's like, actually, to be honest, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, they obviously the whole movie, them trying to have a bambino.
I have bambino.
They do a whole lot of stuff, right? Like the whole IVF.
Yes.
They try looking into adoption, surrogacy, all of these things. You name it, they tried it.
Yep.
And that's where they get so desperate. Like they've been doing this for years. Yeah. They are drain.com.
Yeah.
And that is where they get to the point of asking their step niece if she would be okay with donating an egg to them.
Yes.
And they would pay her $10,000. Yeah. This was a qualm for me. It was a bit of a concern for me.
Yeah, a bit of a qualm.
It was a bit too close to home, you see.
Yes. Even though they express that nothing really wrong with it. The step-niece is, hey, you know what? I love you guys. I'd love to do this for you. But it's a bit of a gray area. There's some gray mixed in. The paints have been mixed a little bit to give you a bit of more of a shady goo. And that's what I like about it, is there is that debate that you can have afterwards. Of like, were they totally in the wrong? Should they have just stopped? They've just given up after being burned enough times with people not showing up to potentially be donors or, get a surrogate pregnancy. I think generally they're respective of this. They're like, are you sure you want to do this? You're a consenting adult. Now, they didn't really bring it up to the parents. The parents found out from the niece awkwardly during a family dinner.
Which is why I remember when we were watching it, I said, the issue here is this, right? And I feel like, okay, these people are drained out of their minds. They've been trying to have a kid and it has not been working out. And I feel like after you keep getting knocked down, you get to a point of desperation and then your brain doesn't work anymore. And then you can't figure out like, is this a bad move right now? I say this because the niece is 25 and one could say, well, she's an adult and whatever decision she makes, she's coming from an adult place. And, she is mature enough to make that decision because she's 25. But people mature at different times. This person, though she's 25, And this is very well depicted in the movie.
Oh.
She's so sweet and cute.
Yeah.
And she's still very, like, she's still such a...
Innocent.
Yeah, she's incredibly innocent.
Yeah.
Her own parents don't have faith in her. She's incredibly insecure in herself because the parents don't validate her. They also kind of they have this expectation of her as being kind of stupid. So she has that internalized sense of, you know, feeling like she's not good enough.
Not ever going to...
or amount to anything.
Yeah, or make them proud.
Yeah. And the step aunt and step uncle, they know this. They know that, you know, that the dynamics in their niece's relationship. Because the niece is very open with them about what's going on in the family. She always says, I feel so much better when I'm around you. You guys don't make me feel stupid like my parents, right? Someone like that, I just don't see how anybody who was, you know, like in their position, the aunt and the uncle, why they wouldn't see their niece and think, really, we can't. You know what I mean? Like even the conversations that she would have, she just wasn't really... she wouldn't kind of like understand certain social cues she would miss.
Yeah.
A lot of times people look at age and think that, okay, if you're a certain age, therefore you're mature. This is not the case. This is not true whatsoever at all. And this movie depicts this 25-year-old girl as still needing a heck of a lot more time to just come together.
They were just so desperate.
I know.
And I don't...
And that's why I kind of like, okay, I forgive you guys. Well, I'm not say forgive you. Who am I to forgive? But I empathize.
Yeah.
I empathize with their, you know, choice to ask the niece. I think they were pushed to do it out of desperation. There's
no like condemnation on my end. I liked that all the, because that's stuff again that's not really explored a lot of the time, right? What people will go through to get pregnant, right? And all the awkward conversations you have to have with doctors or your partner or your friends, you know, the
what it does to your sex life.
What it does to your sex life. He's like 11 months we've had sex maybe once, you know.
Yeah.
That was a good scene again where it's like I can understand where he's coming from. He's like, are we even married anymore? I feel like I'm just a friend who stabs you in the butt with a needle.
Yeah, like, are we going to have sex again? Do you think so? She can't even answer that.
Yeah, she was kind of, it's like, what do you mean, like, you're not sure or something, you know? But I can also understand where she's coming from, where she's like, IVF, I think, where she's like, they've basically been like experimenting, you know, injecting with all these things, not exactly in the mood, not feeling super. She's like, we can do it. You know, you want it? Or, okay, fine.
We'll figure something out.
But I can't promise it's going to be great.
Yeah.
And that happens a lot, where both people have reasons to be where they are. Yeah. And it's just, you know, what a scenario, you know?
Yeah, like this movie is definitely not the movie you watch if you want to escape the reality of your life. It's the movie you want to watch when you enjoy looking at actual life and for how it is, the good, the bad, the dirty, the irritating, the awkward, all of it.
Yeah, I love that stuff.
It just kind of, it felt like when we were watching it, we were just kind of watching it and thinking, that's kind of how we are, you know, like little things that they do.
Yeah.
Relatable
just
things. It was super relatable.
That you kind of,
yeah. The other thing that I really enjoyed is, you know, they then reflect on why the struggle of having a kid and them finally deciding to have a kid at their ripe age.
Yeah.
Right. And the guy's like, you know, she's blaming feminism for allowing women to feel like they can have a career and then have babies.
Yeah.
Right? And she's like, damn it, I don't remember which author she references, but she's pissed off at that writer because, well, I thought that I could have a career and put babies off, and then when I'm done, when my career is all perfect, you know, the way that I want it to be, then I can have El Niños. And it's not true because, like, my career, it takes time, right? Like, there's lots of sacrificing. There's a lot of, you know, years you have to put in. And by the time those years are put in, it's really hard. It's harder for you as a woman to have a kid, right? And so she's blaming these people and feminism. And the guy's like, well, I mean, can we really blame feminism here? Because we talked about having a kid at the time. And you're the one who, you know, like, you wanted to.
kept saying, well, after my book, after I finish this, after I write that.
Like, take agency, take accountability over your own decisions. Because even if feminism does say you can have a career and have a baby afterwards, logically you have a brain and you have you can put two and two together. Like, realistically, the more the years as a woman, it gets harder and harder with age. So that means let's sit down and make some compromises now or not. You know, like right, like there's all these pressures on women And then in the end, you
a lot of stuff pulling in all sorts of directions.
Pulling in all sorts of directions. And then in the end, you're just like, what the heck was I doing? Yeah. In the end, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, just cross-eyed.
Yeah. But God, man, people who go through that, God.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Honestly, the movie really, I guess definitely.
A lot of emotions, a lot of ethical stuff you're constantly
thinking
about.
A lot of ethical stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether they feel like, at one point he's like, you ever thought about a natural birth, with at home? And he's like, well, none of this has been natural so far. Why should we start now?
Exactly.
Which is something he's clearly thinking like, wow, this is like it's so much modern technology interfering almost or affecting this this natural process. And it's a lot of
What a movie.
Yeah, and there is a lot of ethical stuff that they deal with. And of course, there are two people that are very socially aware. Just aware in general. Like that they're aware with a lot of stuff about the world, right? Again, they talk about, like, is it even more...
Why are we even having a baby?
Why are we having a baby?
Like, they're already... Yeah. There's so many kids in the world.
Climate change, bringing another life into deal with...
this crappy world.
Yeah. And, and it makes you think again, like, what is it about, like, being pregnant or giving birth or having a kid that is the thing that, for each person, what they want, right? Because the doctor's trying to be like, hey, but you get to carry the baby inside you, so you get to bond with it. But it's like, but I'm not giving to its genetics, so that part is missing. So it's like, maybe that's a big part for that person that's important in having a kid, is that they have a genetic. Other people, part of you. Some people do, just like surrogate mothers will just enjoy or at least in some way appreciate the pregnancy part of it. Yeah. And the giving birth part of it is rewarding for them.
Yeah. I liked it because they had a really good relationship, these two people. Even when they were upset with each other, they talked through being upset. They allowed each other to be themselves, to be angry. Yeah. I feel like if I'd never experienced a healthy relationship and I watched that movie, I would come out of that movie understanding what a healthy relationship looks like. Right. Yeah.
It tests a good relationship everywhere. A lot of tests.
And because, like I was saying, there are lots of fights, but then they deal with them, right? There's that honesty. Yeah. I know you're going to hate me saying this. It's going to suck, but I'm glad this didn't work out. This huge thing that they both want. Yeah. He says, I'm glad it didn't work out, and she's upset with that. Yeah. But at the same time, allows him to say things like that. Like, both of them allow each other to do that, and then they say that. I feel like you can say things like that to your partner, understanding and being sensitive to the fact that they're going to be upset, but also being comfortable and being secure enough in that relationship, knowing that relationship is a sanctuary for both of you, where you're allowed to share things that you have, like feelings you have, that your partner may not be happy with, but knowing that your partner knows who you are foundationally, and that they're not going to write you off just because you said that one thing, right? So that's what I mean. Yeah. For me, like that relationship, personally, that movie depicted just, if there was a class for relationships in high school, I feel like there should be when there was a substitute teacher, that would be played on an old TV, wheeled out in front of the class. And then it would be discussed later. Yes. I remember there's this whole scene where she's just wearing a t-shirt. She's cleaning the bathroom at one point, and she's just wearing a t-shirt, no undies, just kind of like talking. And I'm like, it was just a relationship. It felt like it was just super real. Yeah. Yep. The acting was fantastic. Oh, yes. The writing was fantastic. Great idea for a movie. Paul Giamatti was the villain in Shoot 'Em Up. This was a great, fantastic movie. Private Life, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10? 100%? 100%. 10 out of 10 ripe tomatoes. Yeah. And we'd love to hear your thoughts. Oh, yes. Yeah, if you've seen it, what did you think? Yeah. Comment people out there in the big bad world. Yes. Yeah. And please join us next time, as we will be reviewing another movie. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. But till then, get a good night's sleep, as we will hopefully do. Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.